Good morning. So today's a new day. Today is January 12th. We're in the new year now. It's 2021, boys. Happy New Year. So today's vlog is going to be a little bit different. It's going to be more of a take you along kind of day. Throughout the day, I'm going to be talking to you guys about different things that I have learned throughout the past semester that I kind of wish I knew before I started university. So to start off this video, we made a very nice breakfast. We made a very nice iced coffee and some cereal for the morning. We're ready for the day. So before we get started with anything, I wanted to introduce myself and talk about my university, what I study, etc, etc, because I haven't mentioned any of these in my previous videos, which I find is really weird since most of my videos are gonna be university related, and so I guess you should know what I do. So I go to University of Amsterdam and I study media and culture. I have finished the first semester, or well, I have a week left of that first semester, and I'm going on to the second one. I'm gonna be doing it online again. And so my experience is quite different, as I mentioned before, and I don't really know what it would have been like if I was doing it in person, because this is obviously my first year. But all I know is it sounds pretty different from my friends' experiences. And so with that being said, my course is very interesting, very different, very artistic. I write a lot of essays, have a lot of assignments, little tests, but more of assignments. In the future, I really want to get more in depth of what I actually do and my sort of assignment types, etc. Since I feel like that could be really helpful for someone that's applying to the same course as me or something very similar. I feel like it can't get that much different from one university to another. But until then, I am going to be giving you the tips today. So let's start with the first one. So the first tip that I wanted to share with you guys is to attend everything. And by everything, I mean everything. And the reason for that is everything in university is not necessarily mandatory to attend, but I personally think that I attended so many things that I didn't need to attend, but they kind of helped in many ways for me. And especially that everything is online right now, it's really important to educate yourself and make sure you're on track and you know what's happening all the time. Online can be hard on its own, and getting all the information that you can about it can be really helpful. I think that helped me personally a lot. If you don't already know this, or if you're not already going to do this when you start university, I recommend attending every single thing they ask you to attend, because it's really helpful and it can be really easy to slack off at some point and stop attending. So the second thing I want to talk about in this video are deadlines. I don't know about you guys, but at school my deadlines weren't that serious. I mean, like, if you went up to your teacher a couple days ahead of your deadline and just explained your situation, they most probably will just not mind you being a couple days late as long as you told them earlier. However, two things I would like to mention. One, I'm an online university, so it's so hard to reach to any of your professors because they basically answer your emails like 4 or 5 days later. And two, it's university. They don't care what you're going through. They don't care what's happening. You have a deadline, you meet it, and that's it. And I found this to be especially challenging because of time zones, time difference. There's a time difference between here and Amsterdam, and I always have to be aware of that because a lot of the things on the university's website are in their time zone, and so I always have to be careful when I'm setting my deadlines in my planner to make sure I am a little bit ahead of the deadline they actually set. That way I'm never late and there's never any issue concerning times or time difference or technical difficulties or whatever it is. And that way I don't have to face any of the consequences of having a very late deadline. And I think that's something everyone should be aware of, because especially online, it's so hard to manage meeting whatever deadline you have given the time difference and it being hard to reach your professors, etc, etc, etc. Alright, let's talk about study space. So over the past semester, I've realized that The place you study in is so important, and it being messy reflects on your work. It being neat also reflects on your work. The internet connection has become one of the most important things that I care about in terms of when I sit down to do some work for university. I've had a million Zoom crashes because of a lag in the internet. It's not good when you're in the middle of a lecture and you just want to hear what the professor has to say. I would just like to mention that setting up a workspace in a very well-connected internet spot with good lighting, maybe some snacks around, a good laptop lying around, whatever it may be that might make you more comfortable and make you feel like you're ready to study. I personally have a nice water bottle next to me so that I don't have to get up every once in a while to go get some water. That way it feels almost like a classroom. And so these are things that you might want to consider when you are setting up a nice online space for yourself. Personally, when I used to go to school online, which was the last few months of school before I graduated, was hell. I used to attend my classes from bed, which is a very bad idea. Let me just say that. I always told myself when university starts, I would build myself a nice setup. And that's so important. Having a setup, having a desk, having yourself look fresh, not attending your classes in pajamas or whatever it may be, so important when you're online. I think that's something I realized after I attended some of my school classes online in bed and realized I wasn't being my best self. I wasn't being productive enough. Alright, so the next thing I want to be talking about is actually time management, which is quite fitting because I'm actually on the way to meet some of my friends and we're gonna have like a group study date kind of thing. I thought this was a very fitting segment of the video to include in the car. I wrote some stuff on my notes here. Time management. I think one of the biggest things to do with time management and university is that you have to build your own schedule. Especially if you're online, it's so difficult to not get lazy or, I don't know, just procrastinate the whole time or just not stay on schedule or whatever it is. So I think building my own schedule was one of the most important things that I did, and it helped me so much. To do that, I used my own personal planner. And I think a physical planner for me was very important because going on whatever website the university sets for you the work on is not that useful, and it wasn't always helpful in terms of reminding me what I need to do or a step-by-step, day-by-day kind of thing. And so I think it is really important to have your own planner, however you like it. It could be digital, it could be physical. I personally have a physical one. It's so cute and small, and I write in it every single thing I have to do, and it's helped me so much. Especially that I personally think something I didn't realize would be that university work is actually quite a lot. It might be more than school. You don't really feel it if you're actually studying something you like, because when you're at school you might be doing a lot of subjects that you don't enjoy, and so the workload seems a lot more. And so when you get to uni you might realize, oh, like uni's a little bit more chill, whatever it is. But actually the workload is a lot at uni, but you just don't realize it because you're doing something you're interested in, things that you like. So I think time management is so important. Knowing when you can go out, knowing when you have to stay home and study, knowing how you're gonna divide up the content, for example, because you have a test in a week or whatever it may be. I think it's super important, especially with online school. It's been one of the biggest things that I've learned over the past semester. Learned how to do very well, I think. All right, now that we've had some serious talk, let's head to a nice coffee shop and have a nice study date with the rest of the group. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is, do you want to? Alright, so the next thing I want to talk about is online friendships and teamwork that university will probably still ask you to do, even though it's so hard, obviously, to contact people from the university. It's way harder to make friendships online than going in person and meeting new people. And so I found it really hard to work on group projects because I don't know anyone. It's a whole new process. And yeah, that's about it for teamwork and online friendships. It's so hard. I mean, I personally am a very social person, but I found it so hard to make friends online. But I know other people that met people online and are like best friends with them, so it really varies. But that's something to keep in mind. It's so hard to socialize, and teamwork can get really hard and difficult with different time zones and different people all around the world. And yeah,
No,
I'm engaged.
Can you cook this?
Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is grades. Grades are not that important. I just want to say that grades aren't as important as you think they might be. At least in my university, it's not as pressurized as it is at school, for example. What matters the most is your performance and being up to date and being as productive as you can all the time.
Who's up for? Set it down. Thank you.
So that's one of the most important things that I wish I always knew before starting university, because there's not as much pressure on grades as much as you have pressure on just keeping up to date and doing what you're supposed to do on time. Last thing I want to talk about for this video is change of space. As you saw today, I actually went out with my friends and we had a little study date. I personally like to get out of my house at least once a week to do my work outside, whether it's at a Starbucks or at another coffee shop, with friends, alone, whatever it may be. I think it's so useful to step out of your space and do something different, especially that we're doing everything online now. It can get really lonely. It's nice to communicate with other people and sit in a coffee shop full of people that are working and are being productive, and that way you are being pushed to be productive as well. And that is it for today's video, guys. I really hope you got something out of it and it was useful in any way possible. These are all things I really wish I knew before I started university, just so I can be a little bit more prepared than how I started. I think starting online can be really difficult because you're a first-year student and you're doing something for the first time, but you're doing it all online, which can get really difficult and can cause a lot of misunderstandings. I really hope that my experiences that I share with you guys are useful in any way possible, and this is in no way the last video I'm ever gonna do about tips and tricks for university online, because it's only been one semester and I'm sure I'm gonna learn way more. So stay tuned, because I'll be doing a lot more of these. And based on my Instagram polls, which by the way, you should follow me on Instagram so that you can be up to date with my video idea options. You guys voted for this video to be this week's video, and so I'm here to give you what you want. You guys also voted for another type of video that I really want to do. So stay tuned for next week to hopefully have that up for you guys. And yeah, hope you enjoyed this video and I will see you later. Bye!